that?
The ball. Can I come in? I have meat.
You would not find me good company.
No. I'm sure we'll find lots to talk about. Nice place.
Welcome everybody, Josh here, back at you today with a brand new and special product review. Today we're talking about this, which is the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller from PlayStation. So as you guys know, I'm a massive fan of video games. I've been playing video games ever since the SNES days. In the 90s as a kid, I've had, basically every single PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo product in existence. And I currently do have an Xbox One S. I currently have the Xbox Series S. I have the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And something new that happens in terms of PlayStation controllers now is stick drift. Now, stick drift is relatively new in terms of the video game space. It's something that's relatively annoying to gamers such as myself, where you're playing video games for long extended hours and you're actually playing the video game as intended, and then your controller starts moving on its own, kind of like what you experience with the standard issue PlayStation 5 controller, which I previously had. Now, over the course of the past year or so, I've been playing a lot of video games, whether that's Destroy All Humans Repro, played Infamous Second Son, I've replayed The Last of Us as well as God of War, and I've played other video games on this channel that you've seen here and especially seen me review. And I think that as a PlayStation gamer, having a working controller is definitely something that's important, especially to the job at hand, which is playing in video games. So I figured that with that being the case, and with the fact that I just experienced Joy-Con drift myself, something that didn't really happen to me until the modern era, I think that I take it upon myself to actually review this controller for you guys on this channel. So let me grab the actual PlayStation 5 standard issue controller. Let's talk a little bit about that and kind of what happened to me, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the features that are featured in PlayStation 5 controllers. So this is the PlayStation 5 standard issue controller. This is the one that actually had a stick drift on it. It's also the one that I've used the most, and over the course of the year, it's pretty much worn down just to extended play. It really hasn't been beaten up or damaged that much, but what I do experience now when I'm actually using this controller is stick drift. And stick drift, like I said before, is something that happens when you're playing first-person shooters or third-person shooters. You're moving your controller stick one way and the controller actually feels like it has a life of its own. It's relatively annoying, especially when trying to do precision movements similar to that in Fortnite or in God of War or Infamous or even Killzone Shadowfall, where you're trying to kind of kill an opponent, and something relatively annoying that happens in the modern day era controllers. I don't know if it's the fact that they just don't use good parts of their standard issue controllers compared to that of the Pro controllers that I am reviewing today on this channel, but I've had this controller for a while. One of the things that I really do like about this controller that I think is really cool is the fact this does have haptic feedback. So when you're like pressing down on the right or the left trigger and you're doing the button mechanic in the video game, whether that's fighting an opponent or pressing down on the trigger similar to that of Call of Duty or Killzone or any other FPS game for that matter, it actually feels like you are actually the person person that's in the video game pressing down the controller, firing the gun. You actually feel like you're the person pressing down the trigger in the video game itself. You feel like you're the one that slashed a sword when you're trying to sword fight another opponent in the video game. With haptic feedback, you feel like you're in the video game itself. And that's one of the really cool features that the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller does have, and something that is actually featured within DualSense Edge controller itself as well. But let me grab the DualSense Edge controller. Let's talk a little bit more about the feature sets within it. So this is the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge PlayStation 5 controller. This is the Pro controller model that I actually like to call the Pro controller, and this has the haptic feedback that you saw in the original standard issue controller that you get whether you purchase the Horizon bundle, the God of War bundle, any of the other Call of Duty style bundles that have come out since then. And I think that that's a really cool feature to have, especially with the rumble feature that's featured inside of the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller. You also have these really cool button mapping features in the back with the right bumper as well as the left bumper on the controller. You actually have some extra adjustments that you can kind of attach to this, and then you can actually customize your controller pretty much to be whatever you want. On the front, you also have extra grips that I will show you in B-roll footage of this review that you can attach to the controller stick itself, and it adds a little bit more of a grip to it compared to that of the standard issue controller. What is really cool about this controller compared to the standard issue controller that I just showed you is the fact that you can remove the Joy-Cons here. If you're ever actually experiencing Joy-Con drift on the DualSense Edge controller, rather than going out and actually purchasing a new controller, which would be frustrating because you'd have to spend another $200 to kind of do that, all you have to do is replace the Joy-Cons itself and put in a new pair of Joy-Cons, and you're pretty much good to go, especially with playing something like Call of Duty, Fortnite, or even The Last of Us, or some of the other first-party titles from Sony. And I think that having the ability to replace the Joy-Cons itself rather than having to go out and actually buy a whole new controller is really cool, and it saves people time, energy, and money. I think that's really cool, especially in this economy where people really don't have that much time, energy, or even money to kind of replace a new controller. And one of the cool things about this feature with the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller is the fact that this does have adjustable trigger lengths. So when you're firing a weapon on a gun and you want it to hit a specific target, you can actually go into the settings on the PlayStation 5, which I really don't mess with. You can actually adjust the trigger lengths of the button features in this PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller. That is really cool, and I think it does work the same with the standard issue controller. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the really cool things is the PlayStation 5 standard issue charger will actually work with the charger that's featured on the PlayStation DualSense Edge controller, which you can see here. You just plug your charger into the charging port of the normal PlayStation 5 controller into this charger, and you're pretty much good to go. So you don't really have to go out and buy a new charger if you don't have the charger that comes with the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller. And that's a really cool feature. It really does add to the overall package that you don't really have to do that much to upgrade. It does come with its own charger, and what's really cool about the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge charger compared to this one is it has a locking mechanism on it. So that way if you're playing a video game and you tend to typically jerk your controller around, or you accidentally kind of move your controller, it's not going to come out while you're playing it. It's going to stay stuck into the charging port that you see at the top of the controller. It does have a microphone setup built in the touchpad that you see here. One of the things I really do like about this controller compared to the standard issue PlayStation 5 controller is the fact that this is a more glossy black finish with the touchpad here. You also got the glossy matte finish over here with the speaker system. Everything about the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller is pretty much just improved compared to that of the standard issue controller. And while it is $200, like I stated before, in most retail stores, there are times where you can find it cheaper online. So if you're looking into the market of getting a PlayStation 5 controller and you don't want to spend so much money on a DualSense Edge controller, I'm sure in the next few months when it comes down to the holiday season, there's going to be deals on the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller itself. One of the things I really do like about the DualSense Edge controller itself is the fact that it does come with this case that you can put your controller in once you're kind of done using it. It also doubles as a carrying case if you're actually traveling, you want to bring your PlayStation 5 with you, or you just want to bring the controller itself to someone's house. You can basically stick it into a carrying case like the one that you see here, and then pretty much take it in with you. It's a really cool case, and it's huge, it's heavy, it looks like a clamshell, pretty much like the clamshell design that you see on the PlayStation 5, but it really just adds to the overall aesthetic of the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge compared to that of your standard issue controller. So I think that with all the features that you get with this controller, the fact that you can map the buttons, the fact that this does have these pins here at the bottom of the Joy-Cons that you can also add button mapping features to when you're playing a video game such as The Last of Us, Infamous, Call of Duty, or any other video game for that matter. You can just press these buttons and add in some new button mapping features to your console. The fact that this console does have the removable Joy-Cons, like I stated before, the fact that this does have a little bit more of a glossier finish, the fact that this does have abilities like the haptic feedback similar to that of the standard issue controller with the rumble features and everything. I think that with the $200 price tag, if you're thinking about buying this for either family, friends, or even relatives for that matter who like, Sony's products or are using Sony's products, I think that they're really going to enjoy this product as well. And I think that this is just one more piece to that gaming puzzle that a lot of people need that they overlook, which is the controller itself. And I think that DualSense Edge definitely does knock it on the park. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you guys like the the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller? Do you hate the DualSense Edge controller? I think that some people have issues with it due to the price tag, the fact that it is kind of like half the price of a PlayStation 5 console. But I think that, like I said before, with what you're getting in terms of the features in the DualSense Edge controller compared to that of the standard issue PlayStation 5 controller, you're getting a lot more bang for your bucks. I don't really think that anybody that's buying this should feel like they're losing out if they're having issues with parting with their money. I think that Sony really does improve their products over time. They really do like changing things up in terms of the style. I think that this controller is definitely an improvement compared to that controller that I showed you not even that long ago. So let me know in the comment section down below what games you're playing on the PlayStation 5. Are you playing Infamous, God of War? Are you playing stuff like Little Big Planet or some of the other PlayStation 4 backwards compatible games like Resident Evil and some of the stuff from the past? Let me know in the comment section down below, which controller do you guys use? Is it the PlayStation 5 DualSense Edge controller? Do you have a DualSense Edge controller? Do you like it if you're actually using this controller for playing a video game? What are your issues with the controller itself? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
They figured out the towers too.
Locations, sigils, the works.
So now what?
Now what? Now we're screwed. Okay, because there's 3 of us and there's God knows how many of them, and they have a head start.
Yeah, but they don't know which tower to go to yet.
Well, that's great, Nathan, because neither do we.
Yes, we do. Look, it's a little worn down. Right there, that's a match.
Yeah, you sure? Because, I mean, it could be this one, too.
Crap.
But still, 2 beats the hell out of 12.
All right. I'm gonna take this tower. You and Sully, you take that one.
No, Rafe's guys are all over these towers by now.
Exactly. So if we want to have a chance to catch them, then we've got to split up.
Sam, just hold up a second, will you?
Nate, he's right. These towers are at opposite ends of King's Bay.
Damn it. If you run into any of those shoreline clowns, you call us, okay?
See you soon.
Come on, Nate. We gotta hurry.
Yeah.